My parents are desperate to marry me off, but I'm done being treated like a burden. Sorry for grammatical mistakes as English is not my first language, so bear with me. I am from India and I am 24F from a middle-class family. In our culture, arranged marriage is fairly common. So, parents start looking for husband or wife for their children when they are in their early 20s. My parents basically told literally every of our relatives to look for a groom for me. Some who didn't even know anything about me. Seriously, how they gonna search when they don't know any of my preferences? But my parents crossed the line when my mom visited my office. My mother was the customer of that place before I worked there, so I was helping her to skip the process a normal customer has to do. There she told my supervisor, he is 55M and he is from our same caste, to find a groom for me. I was shell-shocked. I mean, relatives are okay, but office people. I hate every second of it, but it was not also the worst. But how he and one another colleague started teasing me, like they always tell me they found a guy for me to marry, and he is good for me because his family has 10 cows, or telling me that they found a guy who has no legs, so I can be sure he won't run away from me and many other cruel matchmaking conversation. I literally wanted to cry, but all I can do was laugh at their jokes while holding back my tears. I hated my mom for that. Sometimes I feel that my parents don't even love me. They just want to get rid of me by seeing them so desperate to find a groom for me. There were days I cried myself to sleep. I felt unloved, and I don't have anyone to share my sorrows. But my breaking point came when my uncle informed my father about a guy as prospective husband for me. But I get the biodata of the guy. I didn't like him one bit. First, he is in 30s, so age factor. Second, I don't like his job profile. Call me a gold digger if you want. But if I am marrying an arranged setup, at least he has job according to my expectations because I don't love this guy. So, I told my parents that I don't like this guy and I don't want to meet him. But my uncle and aunt were adamant that I will like this guy when I meet him in person. They started pressurizing my parents for a meeting between him and me. My parents, who are big people pleaser, and my father, who is one step ahead in brotherly love, accepted my uncle and aunt decision. After knowing that I have to meet this guy even after rejecting him, I don't know, I was angry or just sad and disappointed in my parents. My parents begged me to behave in front of him because it can spread bad word about me in our community. So when he day came, when I have meet him, I was sure I didn't like this because our worlds were different. He has grown up in rural setting while I had grown up in urban setting. I am into fitness, I am regular at gym, but looking at him there is no relation between him and fitness, not fat shaming anyone, just making a point. I felt our age gap more strongly after meeting him. I can't find a common ground between us. And I can go on and on. After meeting him, I was angry at my parents and my uncle and aunt. I told them I didn't like this guy, but they still forced me to meet him, and now I feel even worse. I told my mom that this was the first and the last time I cared about their feelings because next time I won't care. This is my life. If I have agreed to this arranged marriage setup, it should be on my terms. I also told them I am their only daughter. I have just one brother, 21M. They don't have multiple daughters that they have to thought about, so at least think about my likes and dislikes. I told them that I don't think they love me, and they just want to get rid of me by showing how desperate are they finding a husband for me. I think I am just a burden to them, that they just want to be freed from. So AITA. And also that guy gave me lucky money, which is called shuggan, which I felt weird because it was given when everything is confirmed that girl and boy really want to get married. I also gave him shuggan because don't want to be in his debt, and he gave me more than I imagined. It was in an envelope, but I didn't touch that money and straight up gave it to my mom. Seriously, who gives shuggan in first meeting? I don't want to be associated with that guy. I am not saying that he is a red flag. I just don't want him. Hopefully this will be our first and last meeting. Thank you for bearing it with me, because writing it down felt better. It made my heart feel lighter. Commenter, NTA. If you have to have an arranged marriage, the least your parents could do is listen to you. You should sit them down and talk to them honestly about how this is making you feel. Commenter, NTA. I visit India regularly and my best friend is Indian and lives there. Though my experience of these matters is mostly limited to him and his family, he and his brother were given the choice about having a marriage arranged, and were always free to reject any potential spouse. The elder brother, who was also a good friend of mine, was more traditional and wanted the arranged marriage. His younger brother said he wanted a love match. It was their choice. The arranged marriage resulted in catastrophe, with my old friend no longer with us, which I'm sure would have been a tragedy avoided with a love match in his case. I understand that arranged may work well for some people and result in very happy marriages, though it's very difficult to imagine from a European perspective, and it can be hard to buck tradition if your extended family and friends have always strictly adhered to this tradition. But I also have been led to believe that it's normal practice to give the prospective bride/groom final say, so they can look on arrangement as a controlled dating service, and should remain free to reject as many matches as they choose until they find someone they want to be with. I'm sure they do love you. Story 2. My boyfriend, 22 male, let's call him Leon, and I, 21 female, have been dating since we were 16. He's the love of my life and my best friend. Leon is the kindest man you'll ever meet, but he's also very opinionated and doesn't hold back when expressing his thoughts. I've known my friend Ollie, 22 female, for years before I started dating Leon. Ollie is a bit on the heavier side and advocates for body positivity, which I love. We're all about supporting curvy queens. Ollie and Leon knew each other before I came into the picture because her cousin dated Leon's older brother. Alice's cousin and Leon's brother's relationship didn't last long. Despite the breakup, Ollie and Leon still stayed in touch and would text once a month or so. But when Leon and I started dating, he made it clear he didn't want to hang out with Ollie without me being there. Even if Ollie invited him over, he would only go if I was invited too. There's always been some tension between them. Ollie has made several advances toward Leon, often texting him and calling him Lee, which made him uncomfortable. After confronting her, she stopped calling him that but still attached herself to him whenever we hung out. Despite this, I kept the peace because I knew she acted this way with most guys she met. Fast forward to a few months ago, when my friends and I had a girls' night. We were drinking and gossiping when Ollie made a comment. You should really start eating more. Leon doesn't like super skinny girls. The room went silent. For context, I've been struggling with my eating for the past year, especially after my grandpa passed away, and I've lost about 15 pounds. I've been underweight and self-conscious about it, but I've had a hard time eating due to stress and personal issues. Ollie continued to criticize me, calling me an attention whore for not eating, saying that if I kept it up, Leon would stop finding me attractive because I'm flat-chested. She even told me that I struggle with being flat-chested. I was shocked, but my friends awkwardly laughed it off and changed the subject. I thought that would be the end of it, but Ollie kept making comments about my weight whenever we hung out. A few weeks later, Leon and I went out to lunch with some mutual friends, including Ollie. During the meal, Ollie commented again on my weight and looked to Leon for approval. That's when Leon lost it. He immediately shut her down, saying, "What the hell is wrong with you? You've got no right to talk about, insert my name, like that." Ollie tried to defend herself, saying she was just concerned because I was just so skinny. She kept talking and digging herself further in a hole, and eventually said I lost all the weight and that I'm no longer attractive because I ain't got tits anymore. Leon was furious. He shot back, "Just because you have fat girl tits doesn't give you the right to comment on my girl's body." Ollie got upset, saying Leon was fat-shaming her. They continuing to argue, and the situation escalated quickly. It even got to the point where Ollie started crying. Soon after, Leon paid for both our meals and took me out of the restaurant. The next day, I was flooded with texts from Ollie, demanding that Leon apologize to her. I don't condone fat-shaming, but given all the comments Ollie had made about my body, I thought she had it coming. So, I texted her, telling her that her comments were rude and that Leon was just standing up for me. I also mentioned that entering on her body was too far, but I would still have taken MT boyfriend's side in this. Ollie got even angrier, called me a fake friend, and blocked me. She also started spam texting Leon, who eventually blocked her on everything. Now I'm wondering if I should have told Leon to apologize to her. On one hand, I think Leon was in the right for standing up for me, but I still think he might have taken it too far with the fat shaming. Should I have asked him to apologize to Ollie? You're NTA. If she can dish it out, she can take it as well. You don't get to body shame someone and then cry when someone does the same to you. NTA, I'm morbidly obese. Let me know if I need to squash a bitch. I have friends that are petite and can't put on weight due to health conditions. I have family with anorexia, one of which was 3 weeks away from death. Body positivity is about being positive about all bodies. Ollie is a jealous pick-me who will pull others down to make herself feel better. She's an insecure bitch who prioritizes dick over loyalty. Leon was returning her energy.